Welcome back, everyone, to the newest episode of Irish Iron. Again, I have Matt Blaze. It's for the third time on. So this is a fairly impromptu interview. Like, I was gonna do a solo show, but I was like, you know what? Like, it would be good to get a recurring guest on every so often. I mean, because you don't have to talk about the same shit. Like, you know when you watch a podcast and they have a different guest every time, it's essentially it's just an introduction. You don't really get too much diverse conversation. There's not as much. Like you can only go so far in one interview with one person.
True. Get me on multiple times. Everyone will get to learn more about me, I guess.
Yeah,
Get to know me a bit better. Glad to be on again.
that's
It's
it.
it's really evolving. I have to say, but I'm impressed with where the podcast is going.
Yeah,
Getting some
no,
decent guests on.
it's more what I found is the people who listen to it are. The problem is they're all because the guys I'm interviewing are all old school guys. They're all like from the pre-social media. So the guys who want to listen to that don't tend to share it on their socials. So it's like it's truly
Yeah.
just what on that aspect it's a bit annoying. But like so I can tell like who would be the most popular guest, and I can tell it was Connor McGee by a long mile, and I think that's just because he's so present on the socials. Um,
Ah, big time.
like I mean, but that's the interesting game. But did you see Joe Rogan had Ronnie Coleman on his one?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when it popped up. They didn't announce anything about it until like the day before. It was look, it was cool to see Ronnie talk. I mean, when he started talking about his body fat, I was like, again, Ronnie. But it was still cool to see him talking to the arguably the best podcast in the world. Obviously,
Yeah,
second to yours, but you know what I mean. Biggest one in the world.
that's it. That's it for sure. Look, I just have to sign my Spotify deal for 100 million. I'll be set. But
Oh, if we can all do that,
yeah,
we'll be laughing, and then get a few ex Mister Olympias on.
absolutely, absolutely. But the only thing I had the issue with that, like that podcast was not for a bodybuilding fan. It was definitely just a
No.
general. It was a general just perspective from an outsider. But the body fat thing, I think Ronnie, I think a lot of people
He
probably,
was putting out what he was told. He's
yeah,
been told that result, and I think he used that on was it the Jay Leno show after an Olympia like 15 years ago. He's used it more than once.
yeah.
I think he just genuinely goes, "Yeah, I was told that number, so I must be negative body fat percent."
And I think the thing with him as well is like he is smart. Obviously, he's a great businessman, and he's not a stupid
Oh,
person.
incredible.
But I just think it's the way he present. It's like the way he talks and stuff. He's not a conversation person. Like you have to really
No,
try. You have to work to get stuff out of him. But Joe did a good job at doing it, especially like at the end. It was funny, interesting hear him talk about gear and all the bodybuilders and stuff like that. But that was only 10 minutes of
yeah,
it. The rest was all about his injuries, really. I think pretty much.
yeah. The injury bit was the best part of the whole podcast. That was the kind of deep dive of going, holy shit, he shouldn't even be able to walk, and yet he's like, no, I'm going back to the gym. I'm gonna hit the bench.
Yeah, yeah. We should look. It's good because it's the problem is you'd have certain people like roasting him on social media, but what people don't seem to realize is like, look, he doesn't give a shit. Like Ronnie
No,
doesn't give a shit. Like he's on Joe Rogan. We aren't. That's the simple act. That's the simple
fact. And at the
reality.
end of the day, as he repeatedly said through the podcast, he's like, I only started bodybuilding for a free gym membership. He's like, now I'm 8-time Mr. Olympia with a huge supplement brand that I tour the world with.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm winning.
But I think it was gas. It was like, what was it he said? It was when did you start take? Joe asked Ronnie. It was like, when did you start taking bodybuilding seriously? And it was like, oh, after my first Olympia. And it's like Joe's
Yeah,
shocked. Joe's genuinely shocked because like most athletes you would talk to would be dead serious at that point. Like Ronnie
yeah.
took it up then. So it's like
he just had a different way of looking at the world. Like he was still a cop until then, so he's like,
Yeah,
I've got my money, I've got my pension, and then he wins it and goes, oh wait, I guess I can make a name for myself here.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, it's always good to have like the valuetainment guy. He does a lot of great bodybuilding interviews, but obviously with the virus, Lee Priest was set to go on, but like he just has to get to America to do it, you know?
Yeah, he no matter what, if he's on a podcast, it's entertaining.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's always stressful for whoever's interviewing him to be like, what the fuck is he about to say?
But I think when you get somebody who doesn't have a stake in it, like like Pat, I think his name's Patrick, your man who runs that site, he
Yeah,
doesn't have a stake in it. So it's like he's not going to lose or gain anything from it. He's doing it simply for his love for bodybuilding. So when you get a
yeah.
podcaster like that who can ask anything, that's when the good
No,
stuff comes up.
I actually really enjoy his stuff because across the board, even outside bodybuilding,
Mm,
he'll bring anybody onto the podcast and just go, yep, let's talk. Even
like,
like that lunatic David Icke, he had him on after other podcasts got shut down after
yeah,
having him on. He's like, no, I'm bringing him on. I want to see what life's about.
yeah, yeah.
So that's
But
a perfect spot for Lee Priest.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the Sean Ray one was great. The I didn't listen to the full Chad Nichols one, but I think what Chad did was he has like 8 different interviews now with Nick Trigili on his YouTube, and they're phenomenal. They're really good.
Yeah.
But uh,
And Nick's channel in general is pretty good.
yeah, I mean, it was great. He had Luke and James on. He had I mean, he has good guests on. It's just I think certain people when they're podcasting, they kind of do it. They like causing drama, like that's their whole shtick, and he's
Oh
one of
yeah.
them guys. Like he causes
That
it.
whole there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think that way, but it didn't really play off the same. But I think the problem is like if you have your own company or your own business and you're not like answering to anybody, I think you're in that position like yourself where you can promote yourself and do all this stuff the way you want to do it. If people like it, they're just not going to work. They're going to work with you. If they don't, they won't work with you. Whereas, like, if you're
Yeah.
tied to a brand specifically, um, you have to be
You can
very
lose
careful.
lose your income overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
see
mean,
the thing that's happened with Keon, what's his surname? The guy that was black.
Keon Pearson.
Yeah. That do you see that situation with him and PJ?
No, I'll go on it now. Is it on his
So
It's on his Instagram, is it?
it must be on his Instagram.
Yeah,
Basically, PJ put out his opinions on the Black Lives Matter stuff,
yeah,
and it's opposing to what Keon believed. So they parted ways, but they did it very amicably. He
yeah,
kind of did a little video where he says, "I really appreciate everything Blackstone Labs did for me. They supported me, but PJ and me have a difference of opinion on this, so
yeah,
I'm gone."
yeah.
And
That's
he was
fair
on a
enough.
salary with them, so I
Yeah.
kind of go, take some balls to go. These are my values. I'm out of here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially when you're the front of a brand, like he was the front of Blackstone. Like it wasn't as if he was like a secondary character. Like he was the face of the
Oh,
company.
he's on every poster.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I think it's a very dicey situation with that Black Lives Matter thing. I mean, I've my own thoughts
Oh
on
yeah.
it. I've my own thoughts on it being born. Like I'm not blood Irish, so I like to tell people that Ireland isn't necessarily racist. It's as an organization, it's definitely not. Like, I mean, in terms of being able to make a career of yourself and, education, we're probably the most one of the, if not, we are the corner of Europe, and we're also bridging. We're on that midline between Europe and America. So our Ireland is mixed as hell, but it's only
Oh
new.
yeah.
It's only been mixed for about 50 years. So there's no deep-seated racism or anything like that. We have, I wouldn't call it
I think
racist.
we're a very relaxed country when it
Exactly,
comes to accepting people.
exactly. I mean, I saw this girl. I'm just gonna get Keon up here now. Um, I mean, for people, did he make a post on his Instagram story, or was it just it must have been a
I saw
way
a
back?
video, so I don't know if it was on his
Yeah,
Instagram or if it was on his YouTube.
yeah,
I've seen a
no,
few people comment on it.
yeah. I mean, I'm just going through his YouTube there. I mean, his Instagram there, and it's like he it's like he still hasn't just get it up there now. So for anyone watching, like this is Keown. So he's just
He's
an
absolutely incredible
absolute
physique.
nut,
Like,
and he weighs under like um he's under nine. He's like 200. He's like he's under 100 kilos at that body weight. Like he's still not
yeah, I think he
jacked up.
was he 175 pounds on stage last time. I think
Yeah, but
because he's topped out classic physique, so he's going to 212 now.
I think he was 185 or something. But it's still like under
Yeah,
90 kilos. That's like um whatever the equivalent is. It's I think it's about 85 or 86 kilos. But um yeah,
yeah. Like, I competed under 90. I'd have to stand next to him if
yeah,
he
yeah,
rocked
yeah.
up to an Irish event.
He would destroy everybody. It wouldn't even be a contest. Wouldn't even be
Yeah,
a
he's
contest.
incredible physique. Very very good genetics and responds very well to his training. And supposedly he was unenhanced for quite a large part of his career.
Yeah, I believe it too. I mean, I got talking about uh genetics though. There was one guy who I was shown by a friend. He was a junior. Um, he was a junior up in Northern Ireland, and I contacted him because my friend sent me a picture of him, and I was like, his name's Glenn Ferguson, and he won the junior universe. So I'll get him up on YouTube there. Uh, but he won the junior universe, and he's from Northern Ireland, and he looks like Paul DeMeo or something. It's just stupid how good this kid.
Freaky shape and size.
Yeah, yeah, and he had legs and arms, and it's like you rarely see that in Ireland.
And when
And
you're saying junior, how old is he? Like 19, 20?
I imagine so. I mean, I'll get it up, but it's like the handful of juniors in Ireland that have stuck out to me have either been insanely conditioned or they've been really big and they've just won that way. I mean, like that's a blessing one. That's how you'd get like certain guys winning, but then usually it's just condition. It's not really like pretty shape or structure. It's usually just condition. But when you get somebody who has that freaky shape and size and condition in Ireland, they just go. They're the guys who do well. So
Yeah, they're the ones that do well internationally and seem to get blown up pretty quick.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, but what people don't seem to understand here is that growing up, um, you probably. I mean, when I grew up, I didn't even. The title for me was the Mr. Ireland. I'll get him up here.
Yeah,
I have the
sure.
video
That's the
here.
first show I ever got to go to.
Yeah,
And being that I grew up in Image Gym, obviously I was surrounded by Mr. Ireland winners. So that was
yeah,
our goal. Every day you walk in, like, I want that. And actually,
yeah,
speaking of that, previous Mr. Ireland, Ender Wright, it's his birthday today.
yeah.
Got to send him a message.
He's coming back. He's actually coming back. Tommy's coaching him for 2022. So
Oh, I'll be excited to see him back at his best.
yeah, because the problem is when he came back in 2015, it was far from his best. Like it was way off. But this guy, this is for anyone watching once this loads, it's just my gammy internet. But this guy he's from Northern Ireland and he was a junior. Um,
Even just that one frame I can see already, side shot,
yeah,
freaky physique. I
yeah,
see what you mean by the Paul DeMeo look, the
yeah,
giant legs.
yeah. I mean, that's a junior. That's just full screen
He
it.
could take Mr. Ireland.
Oh, he
If he was
could.
in the Open that I was in, forget about it for the rest of the lads.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. But I mean, that's just the kind of physique that, like, I would have said that screams pro potential. But I
100%.
think obviously the problem is what people don't realize is bodybuilding is it's not a steady journey. Lots of people have stuff that happens. They don't want to compete anymore. but that's just nuts. He won the universe anyway. He won the juniors.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Back in
I can't see
2020.
any missing body parts.
No, just nuts. Just crazy, crazy thickness.
But then the only thought is, what has he done to get to that point at a young age to see
Yeah,
where he can progress and track up from?
yeah,
Could
absolutely,
be a
absolutely.
burn bright young and disappear, but hopefully not. I'd love to see a physique like that from Northern Ireland
Yeah,
develop up and get the pro stage.
I think he just won the two shows and that was it. But there's been plenty of bodybuilders here that did that. I mean, like especially the class winners, like a lot of them just win a class and then they're happy with that, and then they kind of leave it
Yeah,
at that. They may just compete once or twice, um, which I get absolutely. I mean, for some people, it's not about pushing their bodies to the absolute max. It's about just achieving that one goal of going on stage, and if you place, you place. So
yeah. I think it's something very different for everybody. Like even my missus, she's done 4 figure shows. She's
yeah,
now completely out, finito of bodybuilding.
done.
She still works as a trainer, still likes the industry, but the stage just doesn't call her because she never did it for a love of the sport.
Yeah,
She just wanted to be on stage. Whereas me, I only explained to somebody the other day, bodybuilding for me is what soccer is for most people.
yeah, I
I
get
follow
you.
it. I want everything about it. I want to see where I can get myself to. It's a genuine, like it's the best statement to cover it. Most
Yeah,
people love football. I love bodybuilding.
yeah. So you're going for nationals now. You're prepping for the
Yeah,
October.
15 weeks out for one, 17 weeks out for the Cork. Hopefully, then go to Arnold's in December.
Okay.
I'm presuming it's top 3 qualify. I don't know. But no, I started prep, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. As soon as I got a nod that I could walk back into my gym, I
Yeah.
contacted my coach, Wade Foster, and said, dude, it's on. Let's go.
So how do you think you're gonna look at the end of it? I mean, considering you haven't been training in a gym, you've been doing it at home.
I still think I'll bring my best package ever.
Yeah.
Um, I've managed to maintain a decent bit of structure through the last, 3 months of lockdown. So I've not really lost much tissue. I just didn't get much time to add on. Um, but I've had a nice side effect the last probably 10 weeks. I've done 100 kilometers a week on a bike.
Nice.
My, I haven't lost that much body fat from it because I ate food to cover the calorie usage. But
Yeah.
my cardio fitness is through the roof. My first leg day 2 weeks ago, usually you're smashing the shit out of your legs in between sets, you're trying to catch your air. I was finishing high rep heavy sets on a leg press, getting up and being like, am I meant to rest?
Yeah. Yeah. So your endurance
So
has gone up. You're
so I'm
actually,
feeling
yeah.
fresh going into this.
Yeah. See, I've given up on my bands. I haven't done anything this week so far. Didn't do anything last week, really. I'm kind of just of the opinion now. Look, 9 days left. I'm not going to do anything because realistically, it's not going to do anything. So, I mean, my body weight's held. Uh,
Yeah,
it's pretty much stayed steady. I mean, it hasn't gone below what I thought it would, but I'm also of the opinion that, like, well, I need to work as well for structure and training. If I'm not working, it doesn't go well. So I'm kind of like, I just need to sort work. But the problem is,
yeah.
this announcement that the gyms are opening in 9 days is new. It was meant to be 6 weeks away. So it's like,
It's a funny thing. It's kind of where I think the government decided weeks ago that they were like, oh, right, this is actually fine. And they probably wanted to just reopen the whole country.
yeah,
And they've had to bit by bit go, oh, we better not just tell everybody it's fine and we were wrong, or people will be pissed. But
yeah,
in reality, they overreacted just in case to try and save some people. So we can't knock them too much. But
no,
I've likened it to, when a parent starts screaming at a kid because they think they've done something wrong, and halfway through shouting, they're like, oh shit, they didn't do that.
yeah,
But you have to keep shouting, or else the kid's like, I got you.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the funny thing is though, it's like before the lockdown, I was online looking at work, and there was hundreds of gym applications for managers, for personal trainers, for whatever, tons. Like there was no end to it. Um,
No, it's
I,
probably not even 10.
no joke. I applied for energy with the first one because they said they were working on the inside of the gym from the 1st of July on. So they just wanted their coaches and trainers in and get themselves training and get fit before it opens at the end of July, at the end of, yeah, July. So it's kind of like preemptive thinking on their part. Whereas other gyms, um, the elite course, there was two gyms I applied for there. But again, like even in the group, even in the Facebook group we have, there used to be tons of job postings. Now there's not any. Like this opening thing definitely took people by surprise. Like they're fast tracking now for.
Oh, big time.
So I'd say now within the next 2 weeks, jobs will start popping up, and I should be sorted. But in terms of getting into PT, like I didn't even consider gym management. But then I realized, wait, I have 3 years of actual shop management, and you just replace classes with you just replace memberships with product. So it's the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
it's very transferable.
So I'm kind of like,
To be honest, you'll
I'm
probably make a better gym manager than the majority of gym managers because most of them get promoted from within the ranks of being a PT, having never
yeah.
managed anything.
Well, what
So
I
if you've
said,
managed a shop, you'll be golden.
well, what I said to your man was, look, I have good management experience in a busy shop situation, but I've also been training and competing at bodybuilding at a high level for 8 years. So it's a case of like I would want the gym that I manage to be top end because I would want to run a place that I want to be proud of. I would have a stake in it, you know. Whereas a lot of managers, I saw the next guy walking in after me, he didn't look like he trained or anything, and I'm kind of like, he probably has a great resume in terms of retail, like management experience, but will he have a stake in it? Will he actually want to be there? No, I would say half of them just want the paycheck. So I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of people want the paycheck and the title.
no, I mean, I didn't even ask what the salary was until at the very end. I completely forgot about it. So I'm kind of like, I'll know at the end of next week what the story is there because I had the interview on Thursday this week. So, yeah, so I'll know by
Well,
Thursday.
I know if I was interviewing somebody for a job, because I did get to do that when I was managing a gym in my last job,
Yeah,
usually somebody that puts across that kind of passion and they're not even asking about salary, I'm like, yeah, they're in that top list of who I want to hire.
yeah,
The people that
yeah,
stroll in and the first question is, what's the money? What are the hours? I'm like, I don't know about you, pal.
yeah. No, absolutely. I'm not too fussed about it. I think like, for me anyway, like even if you're just working a regular job in a gym, the problem is they understand that you need to eat. They understand they'll let you fit in the basics of bodybuilding.
Oh,
So
bodybuilding life. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm kind of like I'm not picky. I really am but at least I've trained in certain. I wouldn't go for a gym that I wouldn't want, like a Duco gym. They wanted me to send a video thing, and I was like, no, I don't really want to work for a Duco gym. I don't like energy, at least as a gym.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a tough one because like some of those gyms would offer, when you're a staffer, you'd be taken care of. It's more like the people who teach the
Oh,
class.
a Duco can be pretty good
Yeah,
for employment.
yeah,
I have two pals that have been working for one of them for probably 5+ years, and they're very happy there. It's not a traditional gym setup. It is kind of you're given clients that you work with for certain periods of the hours, and the rest of the day is just cleaning equipment.
yeah.
So there's never like people just in doing their own training.
It's
But
always
their
yeah,
interview process is interesting. I
yeah,
went through an interview with them, and I would have accepted it, but at the time they wanted me to buy supplements and be a client for 4 weeks in order to get the job. And I was like, I was straight off competing at body power. I had no body fat left and they wanted me to do keto. And I was like, I'm not doing that. This job isn't worth that much to me. I'm good.
so they wanted you to be a client. I'm like, I would have such mixed feelings about that. Like, I wouldn't want to be coached by somebody who
See,
doesn't.
I
I just,
understood their mindset on it because they wanted me to understand the customer experience because half of your job is also sales. So I'm like, I get that. But I went in, I did the consultation, So they actually check your body fat. They put you through some strength tests. They do all that. Literally, I was on the body power classic physique stage on this Saturday. I
Yeah.
was in the interview room on the Monday. So I still had can on me. Your
Yeah.
man's checking my body fat, being like, never had somebody this lean in here before.
Yeah. But that should speak for itself, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I wouldn't like there's also certain gyms that I've trained at where I just wouldn't want to be a staffer because I know my actual work experience is worth more than a lot of entry level PTs. Like not in terms of fitness,
Yeah,
but in terms of
but just in
actual,
terms of useful employee.
yeah. So like I know what my worth is. So I'm kind of like I would prefer to work in sales or management due to that because that's what I've worked in for the last few years. I just want to sell fitness things. I just want to promote that area of it. Do I necessarily want to be a personal trainer full time? No, because I'm like, if I want clients, I want them to be that I'd be picky with them. I wouldn't. I'd be picky with them, and it would be around work anyway. So I'm kind of like, I think that's a good way to do it until you have enough clients that you can leave if you want. I think you want to have
Oh
that.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I
Like
think
even me, I don't consider myself a full-time personal trainer,
right.
even though technically speaking, that's my job.
Yeah.
Like right now, because I'm trying to do a lot of transitioning online, I consider myself an online coach that has some PT clients.
Mm.
Like when gyms open up properly, I will be taking clients, but I'm aiming to be not in that gym later than 12 unless I've got a class to teach.
Yeah, but would FBT would they pay you a salary or would it be just pay your rent or
No, so with them, and I'm pretty sure I'm not in any kind of trouble if I let this one out of the bag because I think it's
yeah.
common knowledge. We work hours instead of paying them a rent, and I
Oh yeah,
teach
yeah, yeah,
classes.
yeah. Yeah, same as the
So
fly
it's
same as the fly foot model.
yeah,
So,
same as FlyFit, but there's a little bit less restriction around it. Like they're
yeah.
very reasonable with where your hours go in. You'll do it
Yeah.
in one shift, but what I like is my clients don't need to be members of the gym. Once I've worked my rent, if I bring somebody in, that's from my business, so I can do what I want.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, I know there's certain gyms, like semi-private gyms, would pay you a salary to do classes and group personal training, but then you're free to train people around that, whoever you want. Which I think is a
Yeah.
great model. Like I know staff members, like I assume, like they obviously, like in your gym, like the actual staffers, they'd probably be paid like the guys who run the gym, as opposed to, um,
As far as I know, the only paid position within my place would be the manager.
yeah, that's yeah,
Literally, it's a great idea from the point of view of owning a facility because it cuts your overhead so low.
oh yeah,
Although you're not paying people salaries, I think it's more of a motivation to make people go and get clients.
yeah,
So it gives a better service overall to everybody on the floor.
yeah, absolutely. I think like that's the thing though. It's like a gym will either have an owner who manages it, or they will always have somebody there to just manage because the problem is if you're personal training and you're like, let's say your client's late or your client goes over time or something happens, your priority is the client. Your priority isn't making sure that you can fit somebody in there and, worry about everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's what the managers
Oh,
do.
definitely.
Like, I mean, I know very few managers who actually take clients. And if they do, it's usually just one or two. So, I mean, like,
That's
depending on,
exactly why I left my management job.
you wanted more clients, like you genuinely, yeah,
Wanted more clients, wanted more time to work with bodybuilding clients as well, because
yeah,
even though I don't need to see a lot of my bodybuilding clients, because it's just updating plans and checking them in with pictures.
yeah,
If I'm working a full time salary gig for 40 hours a week, it's not really just 40 hours a week, because if there's a problem with the gym, that's me leaving my house to go straight over. If a staff member doesn't show up, bam, I have to get out and sort it. That's the whole
no,
reason I stopped being a gym manager.
yeah. See, I'd be of the opposite. I'd be completely the opposite. I'd be like, I would rather have the hours there for me to work around, and then
Yeah.
I can handily fit in a few online clients. Like I only have one at the moment, um, but obviously that will build up. Like I'd say, if I can get 5 online clients, and again, that would only be, I would just say, maybe around 700 a month. You know, that would be essentially my rent paid by the online clients, and then the salary would be take home pay. So it's like that's all the online clients for me would be. It would literally just pay off some bills, pay off whatever, and then whatever salary I have would be
That's what you're living off,
yeah,
doing your thing.
doing my thing. But then again, I mean, the personal training route, of course, is obviously the other option. But what I found out was a lot of the chain gyms want you to be able to, like, they only teach clients, and then you're allowed to take on PTs once you've been there. You're only allowed to teach classes, and then you're only allowed to take clients after you've been there for a certain period of time. So they obviously want people who are qualified in Les Mills or something, which is only a 2-day course. But
Yeah,
you know, I mean, like, obviously, I think FlyFit, they just let you do it, and then I know,
they
um,
do, but there's about I think it's between 4 and 8 weeks before you're allowed to PT.
yeah,
You've got to do, it's not exactly like college, but you got to do like their prep course with them, where you work with one specific trainer that teaches everybody how to teach fly fit classes,
yeah, but
bring you up to their standard, and
they train you in. At least they train you in. That's the thing. Like,
yeah, which is reasonable, and it's a good system. What I did it a couple of years ago when I was with fly fit, the guy Dave that was running the classes, he fucking loves teaching classes. So even though it's not my thing, I got buzzed about going into it because he was passionate about the classes.
yeah,
Like he's teaching people how to spin, and he's like, you can see he's excited teaching spin as we are talking about bodybuilding.
yeah,
He's like, yeah, come on, let's go.
getting into it. Like, but were you
Yeah.
paid when you were getting trained in? Were you able to make money when you were getting
Oh
trained
no,
in? Yeah.
no.
See, that would be the issue I would have. That's mainly the issue I would have, because I'm coming from a position now of no backup. I literally don't. So it's like I can't. And the problem is, if I'm going into self-employment and doing that, I'm not eligible for any social welfare, and I have no money coming in, so I can't afford literally to take time to be trained in. The
Yeah.
only thing, the
No,
only thing,
I was lucky at the time. I was
yeah,
working for Sky, so I was able to do that. Yeah, I'll just go on and do this for a bit.
yeah,
But if there's
absolutely.
no backup, it's definitely not a viable option.
No, I mean, but that's a good thing. A lot of gyms do just take you on. Like, as I said, the semi-private gyms, you're straight in working. You know, you're teaching because it's more intimate. You know, it's more intimate. So the guys there would be full-time trainers, which is ideally the way to go when starting off. I mean, and then
Yeah, definitely.
build your base around that. Um, but I think that area, I think that's going to be packed. I honestly think the management area won't be, because I mean,
No, because not many people think about it, and it is something that if you got in the industry to train people,
yeah,
you don't want to give up your time to go and manage. But if you've got the passion for wanting to manage a facility, then that
yeah,
could be a great job for you for
yeah.
a
I
bit.
mean, if you want to own a gym, that's good training wheels for it. That's like the training wheels for
Definitely.
owning a gym, because really at the end of the day, all owning a gym is meeting your overheads, and essentially making sure that you're keeping your membership inflow steady. Just making sure your income is steady from every month, because that's what's paying your salary, and that's what's paying everyone else's salary. So obviously you want to just, it gives you a good training wheels if you're managing, because I mean, it's not your facility. So I mean, if
Yeah,
it's,
it gives you some space to make some mistakes along the way and
yeah,
figure out what works and what doesn't.
yeah,
Like when I first got the management role from my old place, the manager before me, I've been friends with him since first year in school. So it was kind of a passing of the guard, and he gave me a pretty good piece of advice on the first day I took over. He said, pretend you actually own this place.
yeah,
And until the day I left, well, there was like a couple of weeks before I left where things weren't great, but until that point, I pretended that was my pride and joy, it was my baby.
yeah, yeah,
You're going around cleaning stuff. Like if you just think I work here, you're not going to go around and clean the pedals on a dirty spin bike that you've
no,
just noticed as you're about to leave. But I would have had times where I finished at 10, but I didn't leave till 11 because I was lining up all the weights. So I was getting all the plates in the right place. I was making sure all the machines were oiled, all the little bits that you usually don't give a shit about if you're just an employee.
No, but
But if
that's
you
the
get
whole
that
point.
management role, that's what you do.
See, that's what I said to your man in the interview. Was the problem was the job wasn't too bad. It was I just didn't have any stake in the actual shop, so I didn't really want to be there doing the actual. Um, I was like, look, if I get the job, I'll obviously put the love I have for what I do into the job because I want to be here. Like I will want to be there, you know. As you want to make it your home from home, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like any job you want to have that passion for it, or else you won't want to be working. So, but
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
That's what I love about what I do now because it's all, although I work with FPT, I'm fully self employed. So every day I get up, I'm doing stuff that makes my business run better.
yeah,
So it means every day is passion, which is what you're about to start experiencing.
yeah.
It's epic.
It'll be good. It'll be good. I'm just waiting for that first paycheck, you know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that being said, I think it's like it'll be good to get back training and lifting and um
Oh,
seeing.
just wait until the end of next week. Your body's going to be like, what the fuck happened to me?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be
Your
fucked.
first week with weight again.
I said I'm gonna do legs first because that's the one body part I haven't touched. Like I've done everything else, so I haven't done any leg training. So I'm just gonna smash legs the first day I go in, smash back the next day, and then just go down that way and see what happens. You know, get back eating properly. That's the main thing. I think I have a good meal plan in place. It's just the problem is because there's no training, my appetite's not there, and I'm not going to
Way
force
down.
feed. I'm not going to force feed because what people don't realize is like if you're not taking any gear and you're not training hard, your body's not going to process the food. It's just going to shit it out.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a leaner person, you don't your body like a fat guy, like a person who's more endomorphic. I tell people this all the time. The problem they have is literally they will gain weight from surplus calories. If you get somebody who's more on the ectomorphic scale, they won't gain weight, but that doesn't mean that they're hungry all the time. They're not. But when you get somebody who's on a more ectomorphic, mesomorphic thing, they won't gain weight unless there's an external stimuli. So when I train and when I'm taking certain things, that's when the food acts. That's when I start gaining weight. I've never actually gained weight when I haven't been training because I just don't gain body fat. My body just runs at its level of homeostasis, and I think that's the issue. So I'm hoping, like obviously, my first week of training will be just getting the appetite up. That's really it. Once it's up,
Oh,
like
yeah.
once it's up and I'm eating, oh, I'm flying. I'm flying. Like that's the
You're going to
first.
get a serious rebound now.
Yeah, I'm
Because I
hoping.
know you were, before all of this lockdown stuff, I know you were making really good progress in an off
I,
season.
dude,
I think this is going to be like a mini diet.
I was like, I
Straight
was,
back in, you're going to
well,
balloon
I'm,
up.
well, I'm leaner now as well. So it's like my lower body is leaner. So I'm kind of like, in terms of condition, I'm not worried, but I think I'll get to the same body weight I was, but I'll look better
I'd
at
be
it.
surprised if, yeah, I'd be surprised if you don't go over the body weight you're at.
Oh, I want to. I want to. I'm just saying I'll reach the last body weight relatively okay before it gets difficult. Um,
Yeah.
I think pushing beyond 100 will be like when I tried to push to get to 90 back when I was like 20. And I remember that was tough. But when it was done, I could do minimal stuff and I'm there now. So I'm kind of like getting to the previous states of off season is relatively okay. It's getting beyond that. I mean, sure, with your prep now, you're probably starting at a nice level of condition that you weren't because you weren't
Yeah.
in your off season. You were maintaining. So
I'm feeling pretty good at where I'm starting. And I think over the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, I'm probably going to put weight on for the first couple of weeks.
yeah,
Because first week in, 1.8 kilo up from the start date, but
yeah,
I'm not looking any fatter.
yeah,
I'm looking a little bit leaner, nothing crazy, because we've scaled my cardio way back. Because when I told my poor coach Wade and was like, Yeah, I've been doing 100 kilometers on a bike every week. He was like, "We're 15 weeks out. We need to pull that cardio back, please."
Yeah.
So I'm pulling the cardio back. I haven't gotten super lean the first 2 weeks
Yeah.
yet, but it's just getting muscle back full, getting back to normal strength training, which is good. And this is actually my first prep where I've got a coach from the start who's going to go all the way through to the end.
Yeah. Where's your man from? Is he?
He's in the UK.
Okay. Okay.
He's got some pro cards. What is he in? I think it's WFF or WBFF. One of those.
Yeah.
But it's not his
WBFF.
bag anymore.
Yeah.
He's done that the muscle model thing, but he's a strongman now. He works with my business mentor. He's a very knowledgeable dude. He's recently gotten his master's in nutrition.
Yeah.
So me and him see eye to eye on basically everything when it comes to training, nutrition, gear, supplements. So I just said, yeah, look, dude, let's go for it. Second set of eyes, someone to
Absolutely.
keep me from doing 10 million things to fix one problem.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, not all good coaches are well known, and like that's. I mean, you can get some phenomenal coaches who have all the qualifications needed and have done the work, and they have a good client base. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be competing at the time or whatever. So the
Yeah,
problem, and you can get good competitors who make shit coaches. So it's like I would be fairly, if you're, I just couldn't coach somebody. I wouldn't coach somebody the way I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't feel
yeah.
comfortable doing that. Like, I don't know how some people do it.
No, like I wouldn't coach somebody if I didn't have a clue about their sport.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna coach somebody that's a marathon runner.
No.
I know the basics of it, but I'm never gonna run a marathon. So unless they want me literally just to do their strength training and give them general guidelines on the food, that's not my bag.
Yeah.
But I like that he's got his previous experience and he's worked with a few people through the years, so he knows his thing. He's got a few people to stage before. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because, like, I mean, I always tell people this: make sure if you're coaching an athlete, you don't want to replicate what they're doing outside of the gym. Your whole purpose is to give them a training system that they're not already doing. So it does my head in when I see a rugby player doing like sprints in the gym or doing anything like that because they're doing that already.
Yeah,
I tell people this: if you want, like, if you're training a prop forward, you want them to be training in movements that's going to replicate a scrum. So get them doing easy bar squats, leg presses, stiff leg deads, anything to strengthen their explosive push movement into that positioning, and you want to give them the antagonistic strength to hold it, which is your hammies and stuff. So it's like that's the kind of training you want to do for an athlete. Like a boxer, you want to train their explosive power. So it would be their rotator cuff, it would be their traps, it would be their whole upper body, their torso. You don't want to replicate what they're already doing. But if
oh,
I,
100%. I've actually got a boxer that I'm getting ready to return to his first fight in over 10 years. He's a recovered alcoholic.
deadly,
And when
yeah,
we don't know when the fight's going to be because obviously COVID kicked in.
yeah,
So whenever it's actually fight camp ready, we'll change everything up. But the only things I've done with him, push, pull legs and conditioning work. Everything else he does as a boxing coach. I have no reason to ever tell him to put gloves on or to put fucking dumbbells in his hands and throw punches. When I see that shit, I want to go over and hit somebody.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, put your fucking dumbbells on the floor, shadow box all you want, but don't do it at the same time.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I think it's hilarious. I mean, I see it all the time, but I just don't pay any heed to it anymore. I
Oh,
mean,
actually, I wonder, did you see, it's right at the beginning of lockdown, there was a video of McGregor doing pull-ups. Did you hear about it? He's on, it's really good for building your pecs. and he's doing close grip pull-ups, and he's like, "See, it's working my pecs, building my big chest." I was like, "Did he actually just say that?"
I was like, what is he smoking today, or what did he sniff today? Because like that's so
Yeah.
wrong. That's just, and he always goes on about being connected with my body. I'm the
Oh
greatest.
yeah.
Sure, I can't stand McGregor, and the reason being, like, it's nothing due to his fight record. I mean, that's a good fight record.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that
I
is
mean,
what it is. Great
it is
fighter.
what it is. He's a great fighter, but I think he's somebody who's you can't believe him anymore because like he's retired, but he's also done that multiple times. And then his reasoning before retiring is literally the fight game doesn't excite me anymore. And I'm like, wait a second. Your potential opponents are top guys in the world, and not saying it's not it doesn't excite you. Then you realize you look at the opponents, and it's Khabib, and it's Justin and Tony Ferguson. So all guys who could probably win against them and have done.
Yep.
Like
He doesn't
like
want to be embarrassed.
no, he doesn't want to be embarrassed. So doesn't excite as in it's not an easy win. And I always say this to him. It's like people go on, oh, he was a two-time champion, like he was the double champ. He never defended any of the belts. He had to relinquish them, and then he says they were
Yeah.
unfairly taken. No, they weren't unfairly taken. You, as a
If you
champion,
don't defend, you lose it.
you didn't defend it. So in terms of his sportsmanship, he's he's not a good representative at all. He's really not.
No,
He's,
I think recently he's gotten a bit better because I heard Tony Robbins stepped in and is doing some work with him to try and fix his mindset a little bit. But
yeah,
that's going to be a long road. Even the great Tony Robbins can't fix someone that quick.
no. I think the problem with Connor, it's like when you're in that mindset and you're surrounded, the guys who come up with you, his crew, came up with them from nothing. But the problem is
Yeah,
he's paying their salary.
they'll hype him nonstop.
Exactly. So it's like, and when you are making that much money from outside of
It's
the
it's
UFC,
hard to turn him down.
well, you don't need to. The thing is, he's not reliant on the UFC, but he's such a big draw. But people don't
Yeah,
watch him
he's holding
because,
all the cards.
yeah. So, but I think the UFC, if they cut ties with him, I think it'll be good because it'll tell him you don't have that much say. It doesn't matter how much money you are. You have to fight. You have to respect the game. You have to earn your stripes. Just because you're earning that money doesn't mean that you're first in rank if you haven't fought in like a year or two. Like his record is so like he doesn't do multiple fights in a year anymore. Um,
No,
I
it's the
mean,
same with your man Mayweather. As impressive as his record is on paper, it was very strategic.
yeah. I mean,
He'd sometimes go a couple of years with no fight.
it was the same with Deontay Wilder though. All the majority of his opponents were handpicked and they weren't
Yeah,
in the top. They weren't top guys at all. A lot of them were thin men.
actually, with boxing, there's obviously two very interesting exhibitions coming up. There's Tyson coming back. He's gonna absolutely annihilate Holyfield at the age they're at because he's still punching. And then obviously Eddie Hall versus Hafthor.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
I
kind
can't
of
wait to see that.
I root for Eddie. I think Eddie will have that.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
but like I mean, there was a video of Hafthor sparring with Conor McGregor actually, and the thing is,
Yeah.
once Conor started hitting him, he didn't know what to do, and he was hurting him as well.
No,
Like
he was getting out of breath. He was looking very uncomfortable.
Hafthor was just trying to grab him or something, but Conor was just side kicking him and just getting out of his way. And but I think when you're against somebody your same height and weight and skill set, you'll have to trade blows. So I think like that would be good.
Big time.
Um,
And
I,
like, not any accusations around Eddie because I don't know these for facts, but all I know is the area that he's from is not the most affluent area. He owned a security company. That's generally a cover for being
yeah,
a bit of a gangster.
well
I'm pretty sure he's been in more fights.
Eddie has the scar on his face. Where did he get that from? So
Yeah, he's
I
been in
mean,
a few scraps. I wouldn't want to fight him. Like,
no, and I think the problem is like, but I mean, there's other fights as well. I mean, you have Tyson Fury coming back, and he's fighting Joshua, which was organized by It was basically Daniel Kinahan was the mediary between their two managers because they're not in speaking terms. What I find very funny about this is everyone outside of Ireland is pretty much supporting him. But then when it came,
Yeah,
because they did know the history. Like they did know the history is that he's the head. He's one of the three main figureheads of the Kinahan cartel, which is, none of the top guys have any criminal convictions because they just don't get caught. They just don't have any,
yeah.
there's no evidence. But I
Oh,
mean,
when you're the top man, you're not technically doing any crimes.
no. But I mean, once it came clear that that's what he is and that's what he does, and even if he's trying to reform himself, he's still the head of it. Like he's not allowed to come back to Ireland because there's three charges of him of murder, and there's he's not allowed to come back to Ireland. So, um, but the group that he was working with have removed him now. He's not working with them anymore. But he's still like obviously a power broker, and he still obviously has a ton of money and um, a lot of say because of who he is. So, but that would be a great fight.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I think,
Oh, that's going to be interesting because with AJ's background as an Olympic boxer and having a bit more skill to him compared to Fury just being an absolute brawler, it's going to be interesting.
I don't know. I think Fury's more intelligent though. I think Fury thinks. I think Fury strategizes. That's how he built That's how he beat Deontay. Deontay the second time was because during the first fight, he learned at
He
the
learned.
very end. He learned. So I'm like, and Joshua and Fury have sparred before. I think Joshua just is a genetic specimen. I think he's very strong. He's
Oh
very
yeah,
tough, but I don't think he has a weak. I think he has a weak jaw. I think he doesn't know how to take a punch because he never really gets hit.
he yeah. I was going to say he doesn't get it.
So
His
like,
jaw doesn't know what happens.
but when he does, when Andy Ruiz bet him, it was dismantling. Like
Yeah.
he knocked him out. Like it wasn't a case of you know TKO. It was, oh, he's gone. He can't see what's going on. I
Well,
think,
I don't think he even prepared for that fight. He was ticking along. He just went, "I'm fighting who? Yeah, I'm good. I'll have a few bevies the night before."
yeah,
Strolled in thinking it'd be easy fight.
yeah. But I'd say it'll be interesting. My money's on Fury, but
Yeah, I'd feel comfortable putting a few quid there.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
The other bit of sporting news as well. Do you follow the Julian Maddox going for the bench press record?
yeah. What was
They
that going on? I
they
didn't watch.
misloaded the plate,
Yeah. So he
so
failed.
they missed putting a 25 kilo plate on one side.
Yeah.
So one side is 25 kilo lighter when he unracked it, and he's going for an 800-pound bench. So like that was him done for the day. But like if he had have not noticed as he unracked it, if he initiated that bench, that could have completely tore a pec off the bone.
Yeah.
Because of that kind of weight, 25 kilo makes a difference.
Did he do the bench?
No, like literally he unracked it,
Yeah.
had a bit of a wobble, put it back on because he was like, "What's after happening there?" And then they looked afterwards, and somebody fucked up and miscounted the plates. He did
That's
like I think he did 725 first as a warm up, and then it was jumping straight up to 800 or maybe not even 800. It was 765 or something. And I don't know the pound conversion to kilo, but it would have been impressive.
so yeah, but he'll get another shot at it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like even in the strongman, I mean, Luke Stockman failed his overhead press, but he'll obviously have another go at it. And then you had Tom who did the Atlas Stone. You had obviously Hafthor with the deadlift. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm like, the records will be broken, which is great, but that's a phenomenal amount to bench. I mean, then you have the
yeah.
like you have
Especially raw, like
yeah.
literally no bench shirt, nothing, just out, get moving.
Yeah, I mean, watching those videos, I mean, the old Eddie Hall ones when he broke the axle record, it's like
Yeah.
217 kilos above his head. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy shit. Like, that's what I squat. And they're pressing that overhead, like, for reps. And
Oh,
it's
other
not even,
level.
and it's getting it up is half the battle. They can all press the weight. They can all press the weight. It's getting the implements up, which is the hard bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done log pressing once or twice and it was always very tough. It was just getting it up.
There's a lot of technique and skill work to it. It's more than just brute force strength. You gotta
Yeah.
get it rolling the right way, get your elbows driven under it, push through the floor. It's not easy.
No, I mean, anyone can unrack a bar and like that and press it overhead or behind their neck and press it overhead. It's a different game, when you're doing the whole movements. But I mean, as bodybuilders, we don't need to. We're just trying to.
No,
We're just. Trying
I did try to do it for a little bit, like 5 years ago. No, I guess 6 years ago now. I spent an entire year trying to get ready to try an under 100 kilo strongman class.
Right.
So honestly, completely natural during the time.
Yeah.
I went from 81 kilo to 97 kilo with just food.
Yeah.
And like no dirty food. I was eating potato, mince, chicken, rice, oats, eggs, milk. Those basically the only things I ate.
Yeah.
And weight gain shakes. All went to shit because I got injured and I took an antibiotic that completely fucked my stomach. But at the time, I could push press 150 kilo over my head.
Yeah.
And I used to do this stupid fucking shit. If I was in the gym in Flyfit and I saw somebody who seemed like they had a bit of ego about them, about the squats and weight, if it was within 150 kilo, I rack up the same weight, look like I was about to squat it and push press it off my neck and just look at them like, yeah, gotcha.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
97 kilo without any enhancement for nutrient partitioning does not look good. I'll see if I can root out a picture. I'll put it in my story and tag you later.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever been messy.
Absolutely. I mean, the first time I gained weight, I was messy for sure. Because a lot of it was just fat. I mean, a lot of it was fat. I mean, my body didn't have as much muscle then at all. So it's like, the capability of gaining weight is easier now. But like,
Yeah.
I'm sure once I get up to 100 or 105, the first time I do it, it'll be messy. I know that. Won't be messy as like the first time I gained weight, but it won't be clean. Like it won't be clean cut. Hopefully it will.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
you won't be confused by people as a fat person, but
No.
you might not be called as a bodybuilder. They might go, is he like a strongman or a powerlifter or what's up with him?
No, I wouldn't say it'll be that bad now. I've never been that fat in the off season. No,
You'll
what
keep
would
your
happen?
waist like.
It's what basically happens is the abs kind of just disappear, like the waist just gets a bit thicker. Just lots of water retention more than anything. I mean, the certain body parts always stay lean. Like, so my arms are always lean. So it's like when I'm in a t-shirt,
You have to get very fat to have not lean arms.
Yeah, I mean, like when you have that like boob, when it's like that line going from your underneath your nipple into your armpit, it's not like a pec.
That's when you've gone too far.
Yeah, I've had that once. I remember I had that once, and it was the first time I gained a ton of weight. And I remember
The Mark Henry look.
Yeah, I remember, and there was no cuts, no definitions or anything, but I was strong and everything. But that was the off season of 2017. It was.
It can work. There's a few people that swear by having at least one big dirty fat off season where you get chunky to put on a foundation of size. Fuad Abiad talks about a lot. He's like, he truly believes the start of his career doing that laid down a lot of his foundations.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it has to be done. And I think as well, I tell people this: gain enough that you can tell what's muscle and what's fat. So, like, maybe 15 kilos above your intended stage weight. So, like, if you want to be 85 on stage, go up to 100 and recomp. So try and hold 100 and get leaner at 100, and then diet down. And
to be honest, I think if I could jump back in time to when I was like 16, I would have just eaten to get fat, but just strength train as often as possible, allow myself to be a chunky 100 kilo 16-year-old. And I think it would have made a big difference for tissue retention now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always found, like, because every single diet for me has always been the same amount of fat loss. Generally, because I've always been at the same peak of body weight. So it's always been relative anyway. So I'm kind of like, I just need to gain that weight and then cut down because my body will just, again, it'll just be heavier. It'll just be bigger. So I'm like, it's simple. Like, I mean, there's no point in saying lean in the off season. I really don't think it plays a part. If you need to gain those
No.
big jumps, I think when you're at that level of size and you just want to fine tune, you're better. Absolutely, there's no point gaining weight. Like,
Oh yeah, like once you're a pro with maybe 5, 6 years of consistent show seasons in place,
yeah,
what other size are you really going to put on? It's fine retention, and that's where you stay lean for
no,
most of the year.
I think that's when, like, I mean, Guy Sisterino was saying there on his podcast with Fuad, like, he comes off, he'd be off more than he's on, but
Yeah,
that's because he's gotten to that stage where he just needs to take stuff during his preps, to get in shape and hold what he has already. I mean, he's not a big guy, like, he is a big guy, but he's not like an open bodybuilder. He's actually, body weight wise, he'd be up here with anyone in Ireland. He's just a short guy, good shape,
yeah. I
good.
think he competes at what, like 80. He competes around 85, 86 kilo because he's pretty short.
Yeah, 80, maybe 90, but no, no, definitely high 80s. I think he was like 190 or something, or 205,
Yeah,
205. So that's under, yeah, 205. 216 is 215 is 96. So 200 pounds is 90, like, yeah, it's like 90 something, 90 or 89. So it's like, but
yeah.
I mean, it's like, again, with Samir
But
Banu,
that's the thing with bodybuilding. It
like,
doesn't matter how much you weigh at the end of the day.
no, it's about how you look. So it's like, I mean, Samir Banu was, yeah, high 80s, and he was Mr. Olympia. So it's like, I think it's just at the end of the day, it's the illusion and it's the presentation and the tan and how you present
Did
with
you
your
hear
hand.
him on Heavy Muscle Radio talking about his Olympia cycle?
Yeah, that's why I was bringing it up. I'd believe it. I'd
It's
believe it.
interesting.
I'd believe it.
I have no reason to disbelieve it. Like he was using all pharmaceutical stuff. He was a little bit vague with some things. Like he didn't say how much Anavar he used. He didn't say how much parabolin. He just said a couple of parabolin amps and a couple of oxandrolones. And then he just said what, like 250 tests every other day,
Yeah,
and then a bit
so,
of Winstrol.
I mean, but for someone with that kind of genetic capability, I mean, and again, he wasn't big. He wasn't heavy,
No,
heavy.
and also like it's not a small amount of stuff either.
No, it's not. It's not.
And if
I
you're
mean,
getting all that from a pharmacy, and he also then talked about using insulin, so I mean, combination of all of that, very, very reasonable to believe that's truth.
yeah. I mean, would you be taking growth now during this prep yourself, or would you be trying to?
I'm eyeing up whether or not to to go with it.
Yeah.
I've got access to what I know is 100% real, like the Pfizer, but I'm eyeing up if I want to put that investment into it because I
Mm,
would rather potentially use that in my next off season because I'll go off season for like a year.
yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I was about to say, um, like, I know my off season what I'm going to take anyway. I mean, that's not the issue. It's always just for me in the prep. What I want to do is I want to do it differently. I want to prep. I want to be ready 3 weeks out. So I want to diet really hard at the start and
Yeah,
then ease off. I want to ease off. So I want to diet really hard at the start and just get lean as quick as possible and just hold it. And by dieting really hard, I mean basically going keto and just burning as much as I can. Like, I was reading up this thing about cleanse, and like, the problem is your body gets used to it. So like, what most people do is they taper up, then they hold that for the duration of the prep. What people should be doing is taper up faster, run it for around 5 weeks, come off it for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, go back on it. So your body doesn't ever adapt to it. So you again,
yeah.
if you're trying to lose all that body weight fast, blast it at the beginning, take your break, blast it at the end before you.
The, my other issue with Glenn, as much as time use can affect it because you will get used to it, your thyroid function goes down as your use of Glen goes up quite
Yeah,
severely. So most people end up having to either
yeah.
come off it because the thyroid is underperforming or add in thyroxine or something like
I
that,
was
which then
about to
it's
say,
more complication.
I was about to say, because I'm a shorter guy, uh, I don't lose weight on T3 like in the way that people don't want to. I don't burn muscle. I I genuinely, I'll tell you now one thing. When I was running T3, it was T4. I think it was T3, but I think it was like a case of it was just 25 micrograms in the morning, evening, and it was just two a day. And then at the very end, I did just increase it to 340.
75.
Yeah, just 75. But when it was in combination with the cleanse, um, it was phenomenal. That's when my big spurts of losing weight were. What I found then was I had to come off the tea tree, and it wasn't because I came off. It was just I couldn't get a hand on it. And I remember then everything kind of just stagnated. Then, um, like I think tea tree is
Yeah,
phenomenal. I
if you
think
were
it's
at 75 micrograms and you had to stop because you didn't have access to it,
yeah,
there would have been a lag point with your thyroid getting back to normal function.
yeah. So I was about to say, like during prep, what I'll probably do is I'll keep T3 steady throughout it. I'm just going to cycle the clean on and off, because the T3 does act as a complete replacement. And then I just taper off it, and I've been fine. I mean, I wouldn't run it for more than 12 weeks anyway. Uh, but and then the
Yeah,
wins,
it's one of the things that's relatively safe for you to be able to come off and get back to normal function. It's
yeah,
not like when somebody jumps on one cycle of test and then their balls never turn back on.
yeah,
T3 is usually you take
it
it, you
does.
stop your ground for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and then the other thing, like, I mean, obviously you'd include your certain things, you'd stick in your Winstrol, and that's just a hardener. Masteron, just a hardener. Tren, keeps your strength and stuff like that. But like, I mean, prep is not, it's not a complicated process. It's just, you just don't want to
No, just
stagnate.
take enough to retain tissue and something to boost your fat burning.
No,
Outside that, it's just diet hard, train hard,
I
get your
mean,
sleep, do your cardio.
the best fat burner outside of that was the Yohimbine. I just took a lot of it,
Oh, it's the business.
but I took a
I
lot
can't
of it.
handle much of it.
Yeah, I can. So I used to just take it in the morning as my pre-workout, do my cardio, do my training then as well. So it's kind of like it was a good combination of energy to get you through it. But no, absolutely. I think like the problem with prep with me anyway was just that last sticking point, and I think it was a combination of factors. It was not timing certain things right, as I said, with the clen and T3 and fat burning. So I would get to that point where it was going great, then I'd stagnate. And then I think it was just the diet just needed to be a little bit tighter at certain times. That was it. Simple as. It's not
Yeah.
else. The training was fine. The training was fine. But uh, learning, I'll know what to do next time. I'm not too fussed about it. So it'll be interesting to see what you do anyway. Going from this to October. I mean, like Cork, it'll be fun to see if we can even watch. I'd say it'll be fine at that point. It's so far away, so far away. Bear with me. Have I lost you?
We're back.
We're back. We're back. We're back. Yeah, that's all
Got
right.
no idea what happened there.
Yeah,
That's the Chinese trying to shut us off.
that's it. We're saying things that are we're saying too much shit.
Yeah,
FBI.
they're
FBI.
giving away the secrets.
Yeah. Now, do you have any clients doing October? Do you have any?
Um, I I had one guy that was gonna do it, but he was, when somebody's gun ho saying they're fully invested in doing a show, you get them all ready. I had plan good to go. He was set to move, and he paid me everything. We're good. We're meant to start, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden he just starts ghosting. I'm checking in, going, can I get some pictures? Can I get body weight? How have your workouts gone this week? How's your food gone this week? And just then I got one little stupid message saying, I think I'm gonna go vegetarian. Do you have any advice? And I'm like, well, you want to fucking compete in October, right? So don't go vegetarian. So but more than likely nobody going into October. I'll
Yeah.
see. I've got a guy that's literally just starting with me now, but I don't have plans to put him on stage till late next year. It's a like I could definitely get him lean enough for it, but he wants to feel like he belongs backstage. If you get me, like he doesn't want to just show up and do a show. He wants to show up and do a show. And then I've got a guy. Might have seen him on my story today. Doing trap bar pulls. He'll compete, but probably not till spring season. He's been wanting to compete for probably 7 or 8 years, being with other coaches. I finally had him working non-stop for the past 7 months. It's completely natural right now. He's had times in the past where he's dabbled, but in his own words, he is bigger and stronger than he was when he was on. And not because stuff doesn't work, but because he's never actually had a training and a food plan. It was legit.
I get you.
He's just being told, do a few curls, do a chest day, do a leg day, eat some chicken. Whereas I'm like, no. Everything's perfect before you go near anything.
Exactly. That's what I tell people.
So it's likely to just be me.
Yeah.
I'll represent the brand by myself.
Yeah. Actually, look, hopefully, I was going to say, I'll have to sort out interviews. I'll have to sort the interviews out at the show. But I'll just contact Paul Byrne for NABA. And I don't know.
Is NABA going to go on?
Well, the thing is, I won't do. There's the other side of it. Depending on how work is, I may not do the interviews until spring. I might just wait until spring when the shows are nice and packed and the social distancing isn't there, and it's just a better environment to do it. But I'll see what happens.
Let's see where you go, because you could even unofficially do it. Say it to them and do it as like a dry run while it is quiet. Because to be realistic, we're not going to be busy shows. So it could be a good chance to do a few, but without the pressure of a full announcement about it.
Yeah, I might just post them. What I might do is I might do Road to the Nationals. I'll do that. Definitely do the road.
That could be good.
I'll definitely do the Road to the Nationals, because that's easy to do. And then after the shows, I might just contact a few people. But regards doing them at the shows, just depends on what the guidelines are for us as people, more than anything.
Yeah, I'd say probably by then it'll be okay. They've already started to say meter apart, that type of thing. You could even do it as something funny. Maybe you could get a face mask done up with Irish Iron logo on it.
Yeah.
Be like, we got to wear these.
That'd be funny. That'd be quite funny. But
could be the banter. Sure.
Absolutely.
Ask Dave Palumbo. We message him and ask him about the guys that made the RX Muscle one.
Yeah.
See that with the screw-on cap?
Yeah. I love that one. That was pretty funny. But sure, look, man, I'm gonna let you go. It's been just over an hour.
Sweet, dude. I'm gonna go and get my quads done.
Deadly, buddy. All right. Have a good one. I'll send you a text. And sure, look, let me know what the situation is with FBT, and
well, of course, we have a meeting on Wednesday, so when I know the situation, I'll give you a shout, see if we can get you in.
Savage, bud. All right, bud. Have a good one, and